Hey, wake up.
Go away, go away.
It's time to wake up.
So tired of this. What do you need? What do you want? Can I not just live here without having to occasionally deal with you animals?
The sun's up. Now get your ass out of bed.
You don't want to lie in bed like a vegetable and do nothing the rest of your life. I've tried it. Bed sores hurt.
You want a coffee? I don't know.
Coffee time.
The only thing better than a third cup of coffee? A fourth cup of coffee.
It's a real sickness. I ought to be in a program.
Ow, dude.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've got other shit to do today. Now, what the hell is wrong with you?
Every day I wake up.
Care for a cup of Wilkins coffee?
No, I don't like coffee.
I need another cup of coffee.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Authors and Coffee. Authors as in plural. As you can see, I've got more than one on hand today. I will ask you to forgive me a little for my voice. I am going on week 3 of being under constant attack by my to my throat. First, week 1 was the flu. Then week 2 was laryngitis. And now here I am at the end of week 3, still recovering from laryngitis and just every morning waking up with a scratchy throat. And I wonder if it's trying to recur. I may actually go to the doctor today and say, give me some steroids or something, something to help knock this out real quick. It's been bugging me too long. I mean, my video production just ground to a screeching halt in January. And I had so many high aspirations and so many videos I wanted to do. And I couldn't do it while sounding like Kermit the Frog trying to imitate Batman. It just wasn't going to work. But good morning to everyone. And I will get to our guests in just a second. First, let's say hello to the chat and see who is here with us this morning. Hello to fellow indie author Tim McKay. Said, so much for getting writing done this morning. Not with this here happening. No, sir. Thank you for showing up and giving a little bit of time. Fun fact, I actually asked Mr. Andy Peliquin if he could join us this morning. He was not able. He said, oh, that's prime writing hours. I'm like, well, I don't want to interrupt Andy's prime writing hours.
Man's too dedicated.
Oh my God, he is. When I was trying to, I do have an interview with him scheduled in a couple weeks, at an early Monday morning, and but trying to work around his writing schedule was he's got it, man. He's got it down. Yeah. Hello to Herman P. Hunter, the Lore Forge, listening while I drive to work. My good friend Paladin Dragoon Writer. Good morning to you, sir. My friend Aaron from Immortal Rising Comic Books, who I was on stream with him yesterday, talking about indie reviewers. It was a very enlightening conversation. Me and some other indie reviews came on and just kind of gave our thoughts on the topic and everything like that. My friend Mr. Brian McCoppin is here, and I've actually been seeing his name a lot lately. He is the author of Record of the Paladins, the Book of Oliver. This is a Western novel, a Western fantasy novel, actually. I'll explain why I've been seeing his name in just a minute. Wrangler, listening from work. Hell, good to see you, sir. Ooh, I'm a little rusty here. Bald Book Geek, my good friend William says, I'm here to send John coffee. He needs it. And here it is. I just got to get that good pour going. Give the people what they want. This is actually cup 2 for me. I needed to wake up a little more.
The ASMR pour.
Yes.
Right in front of the mic.
I love hearing coffee pouring. What can I say? What can I say? Fellow indie author Timothy Wolf says, happy Friday. Good to see you, sir. Mr. Mark Bradford is here. Thank you for dropping in. Good to see you. Quality Candor popping in for a bit. Hello, John, Jim, and ZS. I guess we can call you Z. Is that good?
Yeah, Z's good. Zach is good. Whatever you guys want to call me. I usually answer.
And my good friend, fellow YouTuber, Mr. Lawrence L.G. Gilmer. I don't do coffee, but I'm up. Hey, more power to you, but I didn't do coffee either. Not until I started nursing school. I needed to wake up a little in the morning. Fun fact, I was working a night shift while going to schools during the day, and that's when I started drinking coffee. I had this one night, because I used to just pop a Mountain Dew, right?
Yeah.
A little sugar boost at 2:30 a.m. and it would get me through the night. And I had this one night, I'll never forget, and I kept popping Mountain Dews, 4 Mountain Dews in one night, and I was still nodding off driving to school. I said, okay, I need to do something else, and I don't like Red Bull, so
Yeah.
here we go.
There you go. And that's how it begins.
And that's how it
Ends, and it's never going to end now. It's okay. I want to be buried with a bag of coffee. Thank you. My guests this morning are someone that I interviewed recently, Mr. ZS Diamante. Well,
Yeah.
your book is buried under some stuff at the moment. I'll show it off in a minute. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you could join me. And as always, my good friend, Mr. Jim Wilburn, author of The Seventh Cadence, my top
Such
indie
a sick
fantasy of
cover, dude.
2022. So, good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing this morning?
It's
Not too bad around here.
yeah, it's been all right. I mean, it's been kind of a weird and crazy week for me, but today's actually pretty nice. Today's a nice day, so I'm happy about it.
Before the show started, y'all were talking about being glad that winter was kind of over-ish. And I guess it snows a lot where you guys are at.
Where I'm at, yeah, in Colorado, it's snowing right now. My poor little avocado plant over here by my window. I'm like, it's okay, buddy. We're gonna make it through this together. I don't belong here. We need warm weather.
That's a lot of good rural countryside in Colorado, though, right?
Yeah, there is. It's just it still gets cold in the winter, and I'm okay. I'm fine with not getting cold in the winter.
You can move down to where I'm at. Winters down here in Louisiana, winter's about 2 or 3 weeks long, and it's already over.
Wonderful. I'm in.
In January to February, what we end up getting is it's just cold and wet, and that's it, because it rains a good bit. And we kind of need the wet now because we had such a me too, because last year we had such a bad drought. It actually affected the crawfish crop this year. And guys, this may be the only year I've ever seen the crawfish are more expensive than the boiler you cook them in.
Really?
Talking $300 to $325 per 100-pound sack. Like,
wow,
that's insane. I know y'all probably not used to buying crawfish where you're at, but that is really expensive, even for down here. So, what about you, Jim?
Well, I'm in Georgia, so I don't have exactly the same weather as you have, but it's similar. I mean, I always tell people, Georgia, we don't have winter so much as we have an extended fall.
That's the best.
It's early summer, then late summer or high summer, then it's low summer again, and then you get fall, and then you get like a colder fall, and then it's spring for a couple weeks, and then it's summer again. So it's like it's just summer all the time here. People here are like, "Oh my God, it's so cold," and I'm like in a t-shirt, like, "What's going on, guys?"
Life's great.
I love every summer, in the just the hardest summer. You always get those news stories about the poor Brits, and it starts because they use a different measuring system. They measure it in Celsius. They're like, the heat wave is terrible, and people are dying cooking inside their house, and it's 89 degrees, and I'm like, that's like a cool summer for where I live. Of course, we also own air conditioners, and they don't.
There's that.
Yeah. Also, like when I was in New England, air conditioning wasn't as much a thing as it is in the South, because in the South it's kind of like a staple, whereas up there everyone has heat, but not everyone has air conditioning. It's kind of unique to have air conditioning in a house unless you have like a very new house. So everyone's like, "Oh, it's so hot," and so summers up there do feel hot just for the simple fact that no one has AC. So
and see, isn't that so weird? Because you move west, and everything out west is so new, right? Everything has been built in the last 100 years or whatever, right? So all the houses around us have been built in the last 20 years. So everything is just like built with all of these things already in mind, even though you know, the summers aren't bad here at all, but everybody's got AC regardless. And like,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how, you know, the further west you move, the more it's just everything is kind of included already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yuval Kordov says, I'm on a different planet than y'all. When isn't it winter up here? No, thanks. I couldn't. I'm guessing he's in Canada because man, I couldn't do constant cold. It's a nice break from the heat, but man, it just eats at you.
It's bitter. It gets in your bones, man.
It
like,
does.
Yeah. I lived in Toronto and then in Ottawa in Canada for like 3 years. We were there and it was horrible. Yeah, Tim knows. Tim's out
Poor
there
Tim.
now. It's miserable, bro. I got out of there as fast as I could.
Yeah.
Like when winter first starts, what you get this, you're like, oh, it's such a nice break. And, you know, you get comfy by a fire and, you know, you
like,
have some nice hot coffee or hot chocolate or something. Yeah. You feel a little, you know, good and cozy inside. And then the longer it goes on, the more you're just, all right, this shit needs to end. This sucks.
Yeah.
And Jim, I actually lived in Georgia for a little while. My dad moved all over the country and my brother was actually born there, lived in a suburb outside of Atlanta. And, I lived there long enough to get used to, you know, a little bit of snow. I actually like living in Georgia. It was not that bad.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I
really like it in this area because I live in the Augusta area. So it's very nice that we kind of get almost like the perfect climate. The worst thing that could happen is a tornado because hurricanes do come up the coast, but we're kind of buffered by the islands that are along the coast of South Carolina and Georgia. So that breaks up the hurricane. So it basically never really hits us hard. It only hits Florida and then we kind of get a bunch of rain and then it hits North Carolina hard, or, you know, it hits Louisiana, unfortunately. Sorry, John. But you know, we kind of have a shield and,
believe me, I'll tell you, when I look at anywhere else in the country where I could live, and the inclement weather that I would have to face wherever I go, I much prefer where I'm at and handling the occasional hurricane. Like when I was a kid, like tornadoes, the idea of a tornado just terrified me. Just this force of nature that comes out of nowhere within 5 minutes and just can completely wipe you and your house off the map. Like, ooh, you know, I was terrified of them, and they hit rarely where I live.
Yeah.
So I'll take my hurricane because I could see that bitch coming from like a week away.
We used to like,
as long as you're a little bit prepared, you're usually good.
Yeah, we used to, when I lived in Oklahoma as a kid, we were there for a couple of years. We would go out on the lawn and we'd just like lay down and watch the funnel clouds like forming up in the sky because it was so wild. Just like you just see all sorts of funnel clouds forming up. And then eventually Dad would be like, oh crap, everybody get inside real quick. Okay, time to go in and get in the laundry room and everybody hunker down, right? Actually, turns out the neighborhood that I lived in got wiped off the map. So terrible, but happened, you know,
to me
years
too,
after,
but it was a flood.
Years after we moved, right? But man, it's crazy. There's weather everywhere. It's just which weather do you want, right? So
yeah. You know what else is everywhere?
What?
Books.
Yeah,
all around me. So, John, you told me I could. You told me I could show off a new book that I got, right?
Yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and show off a little book mail we might have gotten this month, guys. So let's give the people at home what they want. We know what they came for. Go ahead, Jim. We'll start with you, man.
Yeah. So I got this. I got a Kickstarter in the mail. I haven't opened it yet. I cut the top,
lucky bastard,
just so that it was easy, easy to open. But I have not unboxed this yet, and I am just so excited to see this. Some of you might know what this is, but this is Zach Argyle's Kickstarter.
I've been seeing it
at the top.
everywhere.
Yeah. Came with a bookmark here. I guess this is maybe the Merrick Bookshop. Maybe this is a local bookshop, or
hang on,
maybe
I'm trying to get Jim. There we go.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a local bookshop around him, or if this these guys helped him distribute, but we got a bookmark for this bookstore. Some cardboard to throw away, and
my favorite kind of cardboard.
Yeah. And so, okay, this interesting packaging here, I guess, to protect it. It's very springy.
Definitely want that.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than getting a damaged book. As I open it, it's probably damaged, right? I mean, I jinxed myself.
It's like folded in half or like completely ripped in half. What?
I forgot that it was coming in a bookcase. I forgot that was added on to the Kickstarter. Look at this.
Look at that.
Obviously, the reflection makes it harder to see super well, but this is the slipcase on the outside. So now I'm gonna have to open this up. I didn't bring my knife, but I do have a box cutter up here.
Be careful. Be real.
I know. I'm very nervous to.
The reason I call him a lucky bastard is, man, there were so many really nice Kickstarters for omnibus versions of indie author books last year, and I could not get in on any of them because all my money was going to pay for my cover and my editing. You know, I was like, I had no spare money to really give these guys a look. Not that it would matter. Like they got fully funded within almost immediately. Like, and Zach Argyle's been on my radar for a while.
Yeah, it's even better without the plastic on it because you can see.
Look at that.
Look
at all the shiny.
Clearly, it's you can the texture of everything. It's very nice.
I heard that there's going to be a few available, but not very many. Yeah, I heard there's going to be a few available. I missed out too. So
that is insane. That reminds me. That feels a lot like this Lord of the Rings omnibus I got up here. That special edition one. My wife got me for Christmas a couple years ago.
Look at this in papers.
Look at the pretty.
Is that a Felix Ortiz?
I'm not 100% sure, but I would not be surprised. It looks like cover design by Madeline Olshaner. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I'm not sure. It doesn't say who did this artwork, but I'm sure it's somewhere in here. It's not at the very front.
That's all right.
How small is the font in that book?
It's not that bad.
It's not bad?
It's not that bad. Look at this.
Oh, okay.
No, that's pretty manageable. Yeah.
I mean, look at the chapter headers. I mean, that's super nice.
Love it. Classic. That was one thing I used to love about the Dragonlance books is the chapter headers always had a nice little black and white sketch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how he fit all these books in there. His books aren't super long. Okay. It looks like this is 830. About 840 pages. So
nice.
Not bad.
That might be about right. It's a little larger than his paperbacks. Yeah, because it's paperback. Like this is the first book. So
yeah, that's not bad. Look at that.
Yeah. So I mean,
congratulations, Zach.
Yeah. So making the book kind of bigger and probably compensated for the the size of the font that he had to use because the size of the font is very readable. It's a very nice size.
I always worry about that with those huge omnibuses. Sometimes, man, they come in and you're like I need a magnifying glass to read this. That's epic.
Yes,
dude.
So I'm very happy with this. I love the texture because you can feel like it's I
can imagine. I'm there with you, Jim.
You're like you just want to Jim, you want to share?
Just let me touch your book.
Look at this. Look at this map. Full color.
Good morning, hello to our good friend Matt over at Beard of Darkness Book Reviews. He's been doing. He's been a little under the weather lately. I was chatting up with him, but we're praying for you, man. We're rooting for you. So, is that the only one you got? I mean, hell, if that's the only one you got, what a hell of a one to show off, right?
Yeah, that's the only one I have right now. So you can take me off full screen. I'm done.
He's I got one.
Let me see if I can actually figure out.
I'm just gonna make it so whatever you guys share sucks.
I should have let him go last.
Yeah. I blew my load. It's fun now.
Oh, that's awesome. I got a couple of surprises over the last week or so. I actually got a surprise from John.
Hang on. Let me boot this up here. There we go. Put you front and center. There we go.
Look at this guy.
Oh!
Look at this one.
I hear that guy's an asshole.
I hear it's pretty nice. He's a nice dude. He sent me. Not only did he send me this one, but he also sent me two others, which are way up there that I can't reach. But from Howard Andrew Jones, which looked totally awesome. Oh, there you go. Perfect. John's got him right there.
Yeah, that was one of the books I was going to show off. This was I was in the middle of this trying to read this while I had the flu, and it wasn't going real well. And I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, John sent me that, which was dope, and he surprised me with some special goodies in there too. I didn't know you were going to send that. Obviously,
the surprise. I was gonna send you. I figured I had the books to send out, both Howard's and some of mine. I said, well, Z was really nice to me. That was very nice. That book package he sent. Why not return the favor? And I've been trying to spread the word about Howard Andrew Jones' Chronicles of Hanabar series.
Yeah,
because it is a modern to me, it's a modern classic. It is. I say I like a lot of books. I really, really love these books, and the more people can just hear about him and kind of get the word out about him, the better, because they're just so fantastic. It's and like I mentioned, imagine if the TV show Rome was a sword and sorcery epic.
Yeah,
kind of centered around the old Carthaginian general Hannibal.
Yeah,
that's what it's based on. What if Hannibal had come back and tried to reforge what he had lost?
Yeah.
And so it's a really great book with a really great premise and an interesting structure. Just everything about it's great. And I'm just trying to spread the good word about it.
Love that. I also got a package the other day from my buddy Jake Gabriel Gates. I don't know if you guys have seen this one around on the TikTok or anything. Beautiful cover, right? Like,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
Yeah, it's glorious, man. And he's got a whole series of these ones, the Luck Gods series. And from what he's told me about it, it's all about it's about this girl who finds out that she can use magic, which is awesome, of course, but her mom was dabbling in like black matter stuff, and so but she was like counting cards at a local casino to like pay for her experiments, and then she gets like captured by this group of people called the Black Hands, I think is what they were called. Blackovers, that's right. And so it's like all luck-based magic system, which is kind of really interesting. And so I was like, dude, thanks, this is great. So I just got this one in the mail from him the other day. So I think I recorded my unboxing. I gotta post it. John's I did the other day. So
yeah, like the only thing I've really heard recently about Book Talk is the drama surrounding poor Zach. Which that was a real head scratcher. Jim, I don't know if you've heard about this or not. So
no, I did not hear about this.
Some dude, his name's Zach, and he's ridiculously good looking. He started up a Book Talk account, and he's like, I never really read he's like, I never really read a whole lot, so I started picking up books, and I discovered I love reading now. And the cat ladies on Book Talk lost their minds and were doing everything from calling him names and saying he's grifting. He can't really be interested in books. He's too good looking for it. He's trying to get attention. Dogging on him in his comments and dogging on him on their accounts. It was actually kind of sad. I gave him a follow just out of pity.
Yeah,
like
He's not a bad dude, actually.
No.
He did an unboxing for my first book, Stone and Sky, which was really cool.
Oh,
Especially because he got he got so many followers right out the gate just because of all the drama, and that happened like really, really hit hard last summer in like July, I think, is when it really kind of hit hard. But he's not a bad dude. He's a young guy. He's good looking, and a lot of the book talk girlies, especially on the spicy side of book talk, were they were ravenous around him.
Oh, the thirst was real.
And it was
You could have sold
bad.
dime bags of water to them.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. So
It was pretty rough.
he's not a bad dude though.
No, he seems like all right. And it's not unheard of somebody learning to read a little later in life.
Totally.
My good friend Royce from the channel A Drink with Crazy, he's only like, to him, when he was growing up, reading was a punishment. And he's only just now started to get back into it. And he's trying to set a good example for his kids for them to see him reading.
Totally.
And I think Matt from a Beard of Darkness said he's, kind of discovered his love of reading a little later in life.
Yeah.
Good morning and hello to my good friend Ultimate Kahuna. I cannot do the woo in response to you because it'd be too loud. The kids are still sleeping, and I don't think my voice could get that high either. I'll get to some of the book mail, but I wanted to mention. I mentioned Brian McCoppin earlier because, believe it or not, he's actually in a book that I am reading. I had to stop reading City of Marble and Blood because I am currently reading the arc for this right here. This is Doomsday Recon, and it's going to come out next week. I'm going to interview the author. This is the author of The Widow's Son, Ryan Williamson. It's a weird Western novel, and I was part of his anthology sequel to The Widow's Son. It's got a different cover now. This is actually a little collector's edition for me. That was the original cover. And I mentioned Brian McCoppin because when Ryan was writing this, he went real heavy into what is it called? The Kirkisms, when authors put the people they know in the book.
Tuckerisms.
Tuckerisms.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot what the exact word, what it's called, but Tuckerisms. The Tuckerisms in this book is strong. This is essentially a portal fantasy about a group of Army Recon, a squad of Army Recon soldiers that get sucked into this fantasy world by a dark god for its amusement. And it's this dangerous Aztec inspired fantasy world. Everything's are dangerous. Their only allies are these girls that have, you know what a sugar skull is? The decorative Aztec skull painting over the face that warriors used to do.
Oh, okay.
They ride like giant birds, and there's a little bit of red shirtism. All the red shirts are named after indie authors he knows, and I've been seeing Brian McCoppin's name. McCoppin met an unfortunate end in that. I am actually in this, and I don't think I've met my end yet, but I've actually had a pretty badass role in this book so far.
Nice.
You're waiting to see where your the end of your road is.
yeah. Hopefully it's awesome and epic.
I hope you go out in a blaze of glory.
That's right.
I've already lost an arm, but I'm toughing it out like a tough bastard. So
you're killing it.
it got chopped off by a giant wielding one of those Aztec blades, where they put the I forgot what they're called, but they put the obsidian around what looks like a paddle. This is being published by Wargate, and they do like military sci-fi fantasy stuff like that. Ryan's a former Army Ranger. I don't know if he's an Army Ranger. I don't know what his rank in the Army was, but I know he was in the Army. His oldest son's in the Army, just joined very recently. And you can really kind of get that sense of military expertise in the writing in this. I could not write something quite like this because I was never in the military, unfortunately. And I don't know how to write like the structure and the attitude. Those things really come across when somebody who is a veteran writes something like this. Hello and good morning to Allison Wade, and over on Rumble, Little Andy. And guys, we are multi-streaming on Rumble. I'm trying not to say it too much because YouTube does not like when you kind of cheat on them a little bit, but I'm trying to grow on several platforms.
Talking about
actually
side your side videos.
You don't need to talk about the side hose. Yeah, YouTube's a little jealous like that, but I'm trying to grow everywhere that I possibly can. That's always been a strategy from day one. So let me, I did have a little bit of book mail recently. I'll bring myself in. I always push the wrong button on here. Hey, there we go. So this might look a little familiar. I already did these, but Mr. Z dropped these on me very recently.
Ooh.
And these are classic epic fantasy. I gotta love this. See, I really did want to read this before your sequel came out and have a review ready. But again, the flu completely floored me, man.
I get it, dude. Hey, I was out for 3 weeks with whatever I had too. It was probably the flu as well. But I mean, I took 4 weeks out of writing the third book. So I was doing catch up on I was doing catch up in January. Thank God we're all caught up and it's going to final edits next week. So
nice.
I'm like, whoo, made it in time. But man, I get it. It killed me too.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't read Zach's book. So what's if you could pitch it? Zach?
Yeah. Okay.
I know authors hate doing that, but
yeah, no. So it's it's classic style epic fantasy adventure. Think very much like found family, magic, adventure, overcoming insurmountable odds, that kind of stuff, right? And Stone and Sky kind of follows follows Orin. He's the lone survivor of his Griffin Guard squadron. His whole squadron dies. Huntsman's family, they rescue him, they recover him, and then they revive him, and then they form a ragtag team to try and get him home, get him back into the fight, right? Against the wyvern riding orcs of Drelek, which is cool because I got them on the front cover of this one. But so they're trying to get him back in the fight, but along the way, they end up finding out that the orcs have a secret weapon, and now the urgency becomes even more. But they also get spun off on a side adventure while they're trying to get home. And it's multi-POV. We got POV from this ragtag crew. We got POV from the Griffin Guard. We got POV from the wyvern riding orcs of Drelek, which is so fun to write. And everything kind of comes to a head at the end of the first book. And that's Stone and Sky. It's pretty fun. All very classic style adventure. Right.
I should have put you up on.
And you said book 3's coming out soon, this year maybe.
Yeah. So book 3 is going to come out in June 4th. So we got the Preludes collection, which I sent out like just before this one came out. Yeah, like there you go. And then Stone and Tide literally just came out on Tuesday, which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's been so fun. Like I've been seeing people already finished it and stuff, and I'm like, dudes, I'm ready for you as fast as I can. Like, like I released Stone and Sky August 29th. Like that's basically September, and I gave you Stone and Tide the first week of February, and now I'm gonna give you the third one, which comes out June 4th. So like I'm going as fast as I can, guys. Like it's pretty great though.
Yeah, don't challenge readers to read slower than you can write, because they will beat you every single time.
They beat you every time. It's like, I mean, like the day of, I had a guy like post in his review the day of, and he like messaged me. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I can't wait for the next one." And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. But holy crap, that was so fast, dude. Like it's been out for a couple hours. Like he's like, I know, I'm gonna read it again. And I'm like,
I saw some indie author, I can't remember who. He was blown away. Somebody said, "All right, I just read this in one sitting." Like, you read a 500-page book in one sitting? What the hell, man? What are you on?
Yeah, that and man, I don't know what your job is, but man, my job, like I can't,
right?
I don't have that much time to just sit and power through a 500-word book. That's page book. That's amazing. Good for you.
It's impossible to learn this power. Not from the Jedi.
Yes. Where can I learn this?
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm going as fast as a kid, man. I got so many projects on the horizon this year. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've got see these books are all 121K, actually, like very almost exact 121K, which is weird. And then and that's words. Sorry, guys, not money. That would be great. But no, these ones are very, I mean, almost dead on 121,000 words. But I've got a lot of shorter books happening this year, which is cool because it'll be nice to, because I do write pretty fast, but like those ones I'll be able to knock out pretty quick, and that'll be fun. I've got like 4 on the docket that I have to write. Probably only. I'm probably only going to get 2 more out this year because I got the one in June and then probably another one in September time. But then, I mean, then I'm going to be a few books ahead. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. I just did a contract with like a small press publisher for a book like they want. And it's cool because I'm going to get to dabble in a lot of things this year that I haven't gotten to do because this series was like, I got to get this series done, right? Like this series is the one that gets us going and gets us started. And it's been all this like trilogy, but now I get to kind of play in all the
You
other
mean you're
things.
not going to write like about 4 novels and then spend a decade waffling on the second one and then complaining about fans complaining for the next 5 years? Like,
I've considered
5 years. That's
that's generous. Yeah.
Jim's a little more methodical with his writing, but I can appreciate that. And the more I think about the longer I cook a story in my head, the better it ends up being. I ended up cooking the Black Crown for like over the course of 3 years, from the conception to the actual publication. And man, I was changing things up until the week of publication almost.
Yeah.
Not that much, but just little snippets here and there. I'm like, okay, this is all done. I had 4 read-throughs of this book. I was sick of reading it by the time I got to actually publish it. And I know every author goes through that, but I can't emphasize how sick I was of reading this 193 word book.
Yeah, right.
For weeks on end, and then still finding issues with it. But I'm gonna go to the chat real quick. Jim, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to what you're doing this year.
Well, yeah. So I'm actually writing the second book in the Continual Chronicles. I am looking at my spreadsheet here that calculates my word count and projected word count. I am at 14.13% through. Which puts me at my current word count is 28,000 words, 28,257 words. So it's chugging along. And it feels very good to be writing it. And unfortunately I have to stop at the end of February. So wherever I am in this book, I have to stop. And then I have to work on my prequel novella again. Because I need to fix it and put it out there, and then I'll jump back into this. I have it very well planned, so it should be relatively easy to jump back in. But hopefully it's not that big of a stretch. So I have that. I need to start making YouTube videos again, which is last year took up a lot of my time because my style makes it so that I have to do a lot of research and presentation. And that it seemed like I didn't write at all last year, but I did a lot of writing last year, and a lot of it was for that. So I have that I have to do, and I have a couple other things, or at least one other thing that I'm not sure I should talk about yet, but
that's all right. You can hold the mystery.
Yeah, it's not save a little mystery for next time.
It's not really fiction related. It's fiction adjacent.
Okay.
And let's just say I might have an IMDb credit someday.
Hey, all right.
So
always nice to put a little feather in your cap, you know.
Yeah. So we'll see how that happens. Obviously, in that world, nothing's real until it's real. So
right.
Right.
Yeah, I hear that. I'll get to what I'm doing this year in a second. I'm gonna go to the chat and say hello to a few peeps that have popped in. My good friend Stormcrow says Wog, that's Orcish for hi, and Wog right back at you. And I have a super chat from my good friend, the Ultimate Kahuna, for $4.99. Thank you, bro. He says, I would love to hang with y'all on Iron Age Legends. That's his show where he interviews other indie creators.
Cool.
After I read Gem and ZS, great storytellers here, it would be a great interview with discussion. He actually did a YouTube video not that long ago on a little snippet of my book. He's been reading my book for a few months now, working his way through it, and he found one little slightly spoiler-ish area that was so funny he had to make a YouTube video out of it. I'm like, that's great, man. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it that much. Bat Sauce says, beep beep, good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming in this morning. Little Andean over on Rumble says, nice, I'm trying to get better at writing consistently. Yeah, that is the key. Consistency is the key. When you can do it like guys like Andy Peliquin and other people who can write consistently all day, every day, that's a little helpful. Brightest Day Audiobooks. Hello. Good to see you, sir. I've, at the very least, I'm trying to do a little more. I'm trying to get the book that I've talked about for a while now, The Lionheart, which is Age of Adventures Book 2. It's the second entry point into my Age of Adventures setting, which is the same setting as the Black Crown. And this is essentially a superhero story in a fantasy setting, and an Egyptian aesthetic styled fantasy setting. And I stalled on it a good bit over the winter, but I'm back on it now, and I'm getting very meticulous about the wording because I want, like the Black Crown, I was telling someone very recently that you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And that was one reason I made the Black Crown a crowd pleaser. Luis, whose last name I cannot pronounce off the top of my head, I'd have to go back and try it, left a review that was interesting where he mentioned, hey, and this is the kind of feedback authors love, where he mentioned he didn't like my prologue and some of the opening chapters and how they felt. Granted, I had a world to establish in the early chapters, and that's, can be kind of a pain. I was trying not to, super lore dump. But he really didn't like the prologue. He didn't say it was useless. He just said it because it did give out information. But he said when he powered through it and got to the end of the book, it was one of the best books he's read. To the extent he said when he finally closed the book, it made him feel happy. And I'm like, yeah, crowd pleaser. That was what I went for. That's kind of what I'm going for with the Lionheart too. And I want to have an indie comic companion that goes with the book. So that's in the beginning stages. The indie comic scene is blowing up a lot right now. Although, unlike indie authors, there's way more drama over there. I know you guys might say, "Oh, well," as you roll your eyes and say,
"You got to rely on several different people all at once instead of an author kind of writing his own thing, then sending it to editors, and then moving on." Right, but.
Now, I've said this before, that the indie authors do not have this kind of drama over there. And a lot of people kind of roll their eyes and go, yeah, right. Like, no. I want you to imagine, here's an apt comparison. I want you to imagine if Daniel Green, Patrick, and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews were all fighting with each other to the extent that their fan bases had drawn battle lines and were all fighting with each other on social media. That's kind of where indie, that they all had big egos, and not only were they doing videos trashing each other, they were doing live streams where they EFAP'd each other's streams and were just, trying to, making fun of each other and trash each other, and their fans doing the same thing in comments and social media. It's indie comics is a little like that right now, unfortunately, and I am trying to stay out of a lot of it. But I still want to make an indie comic.
I mean, I would be happy with the drama if they start, dropping diss tracks, just jam after jam of I would then it would make it fun, but
yeah, I would be. And some of these guys are making some serious super chat monies, but it's just not part of me to sit there and start denigrating other creators like that, because I don't see you guys as competition. I have a competitive streak. If I wanted to, I could have, but I see you guys as kind of colleagues. So I'm like, and that whole rising tide lifts all boat mentality is just kind of where I am as a creative. I'm more pro indie creator than I am against, some other indie creator, even if I disagree with them.
Do you think maybe like this is starting a precedent for the indie comics world where the conflict is part of the marketing? Kind of like how in
there's
wrestling,
a lot of speculation on that, and it wouldn't surprise me. But I feel like, as someone who's been on the outside looking in for a long time, that it's more destructive and denigrating to what the creators are doing. I like it better when we all work together, because to me, my competition is more the mainstream, because what's corporate funded, because what's corporate funded has all the money and all the attention. And I was laughing about this on my Twitter page not that long ago. There was a traditionally published book out there. Did you guys see that on my Twitter? I know you guys aren't on Twitter as much as I am, but the way it reads, it was this book about two parents laughing about the size of their infants' balls. And I'm like, it read terribly. It was a terrible topic. And then someone in the comments said, and then right after this scene, the car crashes and the baby drowns. And I'm like, wow, what are y'all doing? Like, and naturally, a lot of us are like, indie authors are better than this. How is this? There's always that question. We all ask ourselves that every now and then. How is this particular book getting published? I don't see it like that. I prefer that, like the Macho Man said, the cream always rises to the top. And in the last few years, as I've said many times, the indie authors that are true standouts and are truly killing it are starting to rise to the top and make a really good name for themselves. Ryan Cahill, Andy Peliquin, Zach Argyle. These guys are making really, really good books, and fans are making them more successful by word of mouth. And you can't get that with, inorganic corporate funds. Right. Yeah. So anyway, excuse me. My voice is about to give out. Let me get back to the little bit of book mail that I have. This one came in recently. I'm trying to complete this collection. My funds are very limited lately. So I've been trying to get some books that I kind of missed. I got the third book in the little fun pulp novella, Portal Fantasy novella series, Barbarians of the Storm. This is Swords Against Bastards. I really like the cover. I mentioned this before. This is by Rob Rhymes. I love the cover conventions that he's got going on with his books, because they all they're very distinct. He's got Dan the Destructor, and then Atomic Beasts and Where to Kill Them. Eyes in All Shadows. This is an anthology. And then Swords Against Bastards. You can see how cool they look when you put them all together. He's got a couple others. One's a really great title, A Crown of Furious Colors. That's cool. And he just came out with his sixth book, which is An Axe to Kill the Gods. And these are good little palate cleansers between books, right? Because look how quick a read that is.
Yeah, you can blaze through those.
That's I always appreciate authors who write palate cleanser books. I feel like that's almost underappreciated.
Yeah.
And excuse me. I love my big chunky books, and I will read them, until the day I die. But between them, sometimes it's like, oh, I just need something, just a little something,
That was a review that put a smile on my face when John Morrow read my book, and he said, this was the perfect palate cleanser between these books that are emotionally destroying me.
Yeah.
That's great.
I got this one recently. Everyone's loved seeing this one by Rob Lay. He sent me a copy of Pathlighter.
Yeah.
That come out very recently. And I'm excited to dig into this one because it looks good.
Fellow break-ins. Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah. It's not too thick either. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a good big chunky book too, like you said, Jim. But from my perspective, the more books, the quicker books I can get through, the more I can kind of at least knock some books off my TBR. Because man, I've like everybody, I've got a bunch on there. This one was funny. I got sent this very recently, and I didn't know why it was at my doorstep until I opened it. I got a package that said, my wife said, it's a book. And I'm like, okay, from who? She's like, I don't know, but it's from overseas. And I'm like, I didn't buy a book overseas. What the hell is this? I didn't even recognize the name on it. And then I got this and I realized, oh, right. I won this like a month ago. A Time to Kill by, who is it by? Where's the author name? Uh-oh.
Maybe that's why you didn't recognize the
Michael
package
Fletcher
name.
and Anna Smith Spark. It's on the back. This is that is a hell of a cover too. Let me try and bring that up a little bit.
So that's interesting. They opted not to put the author names on the front. That's different. Is it on the spine?
Is it what?
Is it on the spine? The name on the spine?
Yeah, it's on the spine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
That is different and interesting. I've always wondered about whether or not there might be a trend where authors start doing that, because it's like, I'm just gonna put my title up there and not worry about it because no one knows who I am. So
yeah.
But how do people come to know who you are unless they see your name?
That's the other side of it, right?
So
that's
it's
the other
like
side.
Interesting.
Well, look, guys, we're at the hour mark. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick little break if anyone needs to refill their coffee or drain the coffee that they drank already. But we will be back very momentarily. Is that okay with you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I actually have to head out because I gotta take a kid to school. But
no, perfectly understandable. Z, thank you for joining us this morning, man.
Thanks for
really
having
good
me, guys.
to talk to you. Appreciate you dropping in.
Jim, I'm glad we finally got to hang out a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to do this again.
We've been passing each other like this, so it's good. But hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Take care, man.
Sounds good.
Good. Oh, wait, hold up before everyone goes. Let me everybody go and buy Stone and Tide, which is the second book in Z's epic fantasy trilogy that just came out early February. It's available now. I don't have the links in the description because I'm actually testing something out with this stream and see if the link suppression on YouTube is real or not. But congratulations on the release of your second book, man.
Thanks,
absolutely, man.
Stoked. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.
Talk to you guys.
We'll be
later.
back. I'll be back in just a minute with Jim. All right. Switch things around here. That way it looks like I'm talking to you. All right. I forgot to get to this before Z left.
I'm going to turn this.
I'm actually looking up at the my screen, and Z's left, but it looks like we're still streaming to his channel. So hello to Z's channel. That might be funny to go look at. You know what? I'm gonna go look at that real quick. That might be funny. Be funny if true. Which is weird because I thought that your channel
would stop
once
streaming.
You left, it would stop streaming. Right.
Right. Maybe it's up to the host.
No, we're live over on this channel.
Okay, now we can tell his audience what we really think about him.
Let me tell you about these Italians, bro. Let me tell you something. Hey.
Oh
man.
Gosh.
That's funny. Well, Z, you're getting some extra content, buddy. I actually don't. I could probably shut it down if I want to, but yeah, I can if I want to. Why would I though?
Yeah, let it run.
What's it gonna hurt? What's it gonna hurt? Anyway, I forgot to mention this. I want to do it at the start, but I'm a little forgetful sometimes. For one thing, I always push the wrong button. Here we go. Jim, happy birthday, bro.
Thank you.
It is your birthday this week.
Yes.
And because of that, you have your book, The Seventh Cadence, on sale at 99 cents. I think we're still in the middle of this sale, right?
Right. So it started at 99 cents. This was a Kindle countdown deal. So it's a little higher now, but it keeps going up every, about every, I don't know how long it takes. I spread it out over the time, maybe like 20 hours or so. It goes up another $1. So right now it is, let me go look at the price page. We are looking at, come on, reload. Don't leave me hanging like this. Yeah, it doesn't want to reload. I'm gonna guess. Okay, we're at $2.99, so that's about half off. It's usually
that's still a pretty good deal for an ebook. Yeah.
So it retails for $4.99 right now. So it's at $2.99. So if you want to save a few dollars, hop over there and grab it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's has a lot of the same elements as Zach's book, but it's longer. So
therefore better.
Well, I don't know about better, but it's definitely longer.
Author voices are distinct for a reason, and I think that something that lends itself well, like I was showing you earlier with the Rob's books, the Barbarians of the Storm. He's got a unique voice that focuses on fun over a lot of purple prose. So that's why his books are good palate cleansers. They're just good, simple, real quick, fun, little bit of present tense, but you kind of, once you get used to it a little bit, it's not too egregious. And he's learning and growing as a writer, and that's always an important thing. Support indie authors, and they're not going to stay at the same skill level from book one. They're they only just get better. I mean, my God, look at Brandon Sanderson. How good did he get between? He said what? He published 14 books. No, sorry, he wrote 14 books before he was published.
Right.
That's a lot of time put into honing your craft.
Right.
So it's no doubt that a lot of his book ones in his different series are really good at grabbing you and bringing you in. Or so I hear.
Yeah. He's also even after he published, he has books that are kind of obscure because they're earlier in his career. Like after Elantris, I don't know exactly the timeline, but I think he wrote 3 Infinity Blade books based off of the video game. I think he was contracted to do that. He wrote and published those. Nobody really talks about those, but I'm sure he, it was a pretty good contract for him, hopefully, and it probably proved that he could write to spec in a way that helped grant him the Wheel of Time contract. I've never heard anybody talk about those books. I've never even seen a review on them.
What are they?
Infinity Blade. You remember the video game? It's based on the video game. I'm looking it up right now.
I'll look it up too. Infinity Blade. The name is familiar. Infinity Blade 2010 video game by Epic.
Yeah.
Let me see here. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So Infinity Blade Awakening is the first book. Infinity Blade Redemption is the second book. So
I don't remember this, and I was playing games at the time. Of course, I always play JRPGs. Weird. I don't know why I don't remember this. I remember hearing about it, I think.
Yeah, it's a video game adaptation kind of thing going on. So it ties into the books. According to his website, it says to get the whole story, play the games, and read the novellas in this order. So play Infinity Blade, read the book Infinity Blade Awakening, play Infinity Blade 2, then read Infinity Blade Redemption, and then play Infinity Blade 3. So, yeah. So I guess they're meant to go in between the games. So,
Interesting. Brandon, why are you're a big best-selling author? Why are you writing a video game adaptation? I can do it because I'm a big best-selling author. There you go, Brandon. That's the kind of love I like to see.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I never. Oh shoot, that didn't share, did it? Why did it do that? Whatever. Try and get my screen share back. There we go. Yeah, interesting. No, I didn't know that. Nothing wrong with it. You know, a lot of authors kind of have to. I used to read movie novelizations because I thought I would get something better out of it, and it was kind of interesting to see if you could or not.
You're right.
But
right.
Some of them were pretty decent. Like I read the Batman and Robin novelization at the time the movie came out, and there was some more depth to Mr. Freeze, naturally, because a better author, a better writer kind of put that time into it. But not all of them. I'm just now remembering, I read the Spaceballs novelization.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that had a novelization.
Stupid. It did have a novelization. I do remember there was one joke in the book that made me die laughing when the ship transforms into the Mega Maid to suck out all the air. In the book, the robot says, "I don't do windows," which I was 13 when I read that, and I died laughing. Not as funny these days. Let me go back to. They had some people in the chat had some comments. Pub Mechanic, thank you for dropping in. From my standpoint, many of the indie books have way better cover art than the mainstream publishers are doing, save for Bain Books. Just goes to show how trade publishers aren't imaginative even on the cover. I think it's one, I agree, and I've been in this discussion many times that indie fantasy covers are much better, and I think it's because we all are trying to emulate the books that we grew up on that had really great, awesome, kick-ass art on it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of decision making that goes into why a cover is a specific way. Like a lot of the cover refreshes have more to do with an author being a legacy author than it has to do with getting good cover art. It's sometimes, they'll redo a cover and they're just trying to attract a completely different audience than the audience it was intended for. And I think that's sometimes why you end up with a cover that is like, what is going on here? Like, this is just not good.
Yeah. So, you probably missed this on my timeline. There was a big thread of this. I have to scroll down for a second to find it. But there was a big thread on this of older books and the modern covers, that replacements that they've been given, and it's disgusting. I ain't gonna lie. Some of these were just downright terrible, downright disrespectful, especially for Terry Pratchett.
Oh,
trying to find it because this was several days ago, and here it is. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna share it. Let me take this comment down. Terry Pratchett, the Color of Magic, sorry. Wait, which tab am I on? Here we go. Here's the original classic epic, fantasy. Although I hear it's not the best. It's not the best Discworld book to start with.
Right.
And here's the modern incarnation.
I would not guess that this.
No,
I would not guess that's his fantasy book.
No. This looks like something made for a bored wine mom.
Yeah. It looks kind of like maybe women's fiction,
right?
Maybe like a women's fiction mixed with a literary fiction kind of thing, like a modern literary fiction.
Here's one. Now this one, here's one. This is interesting. Now you really get the sense of what this is when you look at it, even if the Dune covers, the old school Dune covers, were all really weird.
Yeah.
And then you come to this, and again, this looks like something somebody whipped up in Canvas very quickly, in an hour.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that cover at all. It's not.
And then here's me saying that indie fantasy's been killing. These are some good ones. These are some of my recent favorites. Good ones. And I liked David Tedlis cover. It's awesome. Had to throw mine in there because I'm a shameless self-promoter.
And it's awesome. It's a great cover.
I think some other people had some examples. Oh, here's one. Wizard of Earthsea. Now that at least kind of gives the indication of what genre you're reading. This, not so much. It's. Oh yeah, this to me is always disrespectful when they put like the movie version of it on the front.
Yeah. See, the only reason some of these cover refreshes can get away with it is because the books have hit a certain level of popularity where you're not so much selling them on the idea of the book, you're selling them on the author's name. Right. So as you can see here, if you go all the way back, George R.R. Martin wasn't as a big of name, so you're focusing on the cover art, of it and the title. But when an author becomes known, you're selling them on the name. It's like, oh, I've heard of this person, and it doesn't really matter what the cover art says. It just matters how big the author's name is on it. So
right, but it still just kind of feels lazy and cheap to me.
That's awful.
This was how I first saw Game of Thrones. I didn't start reading it until maybe the late 2000s, a couple of years before the TV show had come out. Right. And I remember reading the blurb in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I'm like, this seems really complex. And I was, just kind of put it down and poo-pooed it a little bit. But yeah, I kind of dug this.
I have that copy.
That's cool.
Of my Clash of Kings. It's somewhere.
Yeah. Like, and looking at this, you would not realize years later how iconic those characters on the cover would become.
Right.
Just look at okay, now look, some old school cover art could get a little goofy looking. And color, you can call me whatever you want. There are some reinterpretations that I do kind of for aesthetics that I do kind of dig. Like I like the Starship Troopers movie for one, and I know I'll brush up against some Dune purists, but I like the look of the 1984 movie because it feels very brutalist and interesting to look at. But let me get a drink of water, man.
Yeah,
voice.
I mean, you hate to see it happen because I'm a big fan of fantasy art. And I just want to see great fantasy art on books, because when I buy them, I just love picking them up, looking at them, and then, being able to display them. And of course, great cover art is really what attracts me to a book. If I see something that isn't really trying, then I'm not as attracted to it. And I don't know. It's just not what I'm into. So
no, I agree, man. It was the cover art that got me to start picking up the books, right? That's what I want. And I couldn't do anything less for my book. And I had one review that told me, he says, "What is up with this cover art? It's like we're back in the 2000s." I'm like, "Yeah, and that's what I wanted."
Yeah, it
Lieutenant
gives you
Bob.
go ahead.
Sorry, polish off a couple comments here. Lieutenant Bob over on Rumble, just in time for the coffee break. That was a little while ago. Thank you for dropping in, Bob. Good to see you. Alois dropping in. Good to see you as well. Says, you guys still here? Yes, we are. Merce, I'm gonna say this. Mercius Alucius. It's 2 a.m. Saturday morning at the moment here in Brisbane. Well, thank you for dropping in so early in the morning. Appreciate it. Who else is here? I'm trying to say hello to anyone who's new. Everybody's talking. Oh yeah, everyone's talking about the book covers. When it come to the book covers, you know who always bugged me about it was Terry Goodkind's book covers were so all over the place. Like they had a certain look up to like book 4, and then I think, you know, because of how his feelings about being in the fantasy, lumped in with the fantasy genre, got him to redo the covers. And I didn't mind. I didn't mind the covers.
Yeah, it went from. I mean the new ones.
Happens to me constantly.
Okay. Oh, this one's wrong.
Now your shelf says rad.
Still good. Still good.
Yeah.
So this was the original Wizard's First Rule.
God,
and you just do not see that anymore.
No, and I love it.
So, you know, you can see the characters on it and everything, and it is actually, you know, I actually had to find this one again. It still has a sticker on it because mine got so beat up that I was like, I need to just get another copy of this because this one is not holding up very well.
I kind of like my books a little beat up, but it kind of gives them that I've owned feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know. I thought I had another copy of the newer version of the artwork, but
and then like in the middle of him writing, like the book's got this new design where it was like black up top and bottom with the art kind of condensed in the middle,
like this.
And
one?
I didn't mind that. That actually, you know, it made his books covers a little more distinct. And then the last 3 books in what was supposed to be the last 3 books in the Sword of Truth had a completely different cover convention, and they were also printed in a different size than the other books. And I'm like, one, that looks terrible on a bookshelf. It, you know, and it looks like they're all from different series. It's so weird.
If you go and like to Barnes & Noble or something now and look for his books, they changed the cover art again. It's not even this style anymore. It just got worse. It's like something else now. It's kind of like the bad refresh. And it's because he can't stop it now.
Right. So not that he was doing a great job with what he was getting in the beginning. We all remember that controversy.
Yeah. But he can't really have much say in that now. And it seems like as soon as he passed away, they were like, "Oh, great, that guy's out of the way. Let's change the covers."
Rest in peace, Terry.
Yeah,
I did enjoy enjoyed a lot of his books, but I'm trying to find what they're at now. Shoot, books. Let me just books. I'm trying to find it. Let me see. Right, like see, like this, like that triggers my sense of aesthetic so much. When they're all different covers, and that's a little irritating to me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find the newer books. I guess I could just go. No. Who is he published by? Tor?
Tor. I'm not sure if he's still published by Tor, but yeah. So like Severed Souls and Warheart were part of the another series he did that was attached to the Sword of Truth series, but it got, you know, the cover art is not at all the same. Yeah, check out
Just go to
Amazon
Amazon.
page because it might show the newest version of the covers.
Come on. There we go. Looks like it's got the old ones. See, I didn't mind this. And then you get to this one, which this one was my favorite one, but it just doesn't look like it belongs.
You're not on the right window.
I'm not. I'm not surprised. It's just all different covers. It's just so eclectic. It always bugged me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just wish I like that consistency. I feel like a lot of other people are like that too. And then you get authors that re-release like Martin. Like there's how many different versions of Game of Thrones books, special editions, and I liked that one set that was a couple of like 4 or 5 leather bound books in that little case set. That was really cool, but it's never going to be finished. So why get it? Let me go to another birthday here. Mr. R. Verdi, good happy birthday. Apparently he woke up shit-faced this morning. He is what's his book? The First Binding. And I wanted to share this. This was pretty interesting. This is Joshua Lysick. He's a ghostwriter, apparently a very popular one. I follow him somewhat. Don't really read his books because I'm not really into ghost written books. But he does this thing where he goes to book signings. And if you look over here to the side, you'll see he uses his 1-star reviews to help promote his books. He's got a 1-star review on a thing here. It's a drivel, total drivel. The guy Googled some buzzwords and stumbled his way through a book laughably bad. And over here on the left side, it says, "So good they call you a fake." Like that's a good way to wait. Hold on, that's not even. Sorry, guys. I'm still learning the whole YouTube thing after 2 years. He's this is really the kind of attitude you have to go to. You see some people that melt down over their 1-star reviews, especially if they wreck like their 5-star review streak.
Yeah.
But you really got to have a self-deprecating sense of humor, especially in regards to your work, because it helps. Like you'll never see me use the phrase imposter syndrome in regards to myself, because the first thing I'll tell people that someone says, your book sucks. I'm like, I know, whatever, but I enjoy reading them and I enjoy writing them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You've got to not just have a thick skin, but a self-deprecating sense of humor will go a long way into, mitigating, kind of shielding yourself against that kind of negative criticism, because you're going to get it no matter what.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want one that's funny, right? That's all if you're going to give me a 1-star review, at least make it funny.
Yeah.
I mentioned my friend Ryan Williamson earlier. He got a 1-star review as my favorite 1-star review ever. Somebody told him, all they said was, it could have been epic. And I think about all the epic action sequences, and you've got angels and demons fighting hordes of Mexican undead, buffalo soldiers fighting the Mexican undead in bipedal walking steam-powered tanks. And I'm sitting, and the book ending with a fight against an Aztec lich, and I'm sitting there thinking, what book did he read?
Yeah. Oh man,
epic. I still laugh about it to this day, man. my 1-star reviews were from people who obviously didn't read the book and just didn't like me on Twitter, so I was disappointed.
Oh well, yeah, you always get that. So whatever.
It is whatever. It is whatever.
So I want a 1-star review that was like, that's like, Amazon took too long to ship this 1 star. Because that's totally what I will promote, because it's completely unrelated. I love those 1-star reviews, especially on popular books, because then you start to get these 1-star reviews that are completely unrelated to the book. It's more about like how it was distributed. So they think they're, and it's just like, what? That's not a review. That's just you complaining about the company that distributed it to you. This is a bookstore review.
Yeah, right. Why are you? It don't make no sense. And I guess it's just. I'll give a perfect example of this. People just kind of finding a place to complain and using it. When I was in nursing school, I worked overnight at a hospital in the admissions department. I was the person that checked you into the ER, right? And took your insurance information. And the hospital, what they used to do, if somebody, gave their information, they would send out surveys in the form of a pamphlet. And the pamphlet, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. The pamphlet had each department split up into different sections on it. So, how was your time with nursing, the doctors, the cafeteria? It was done like that, right? So if you had different notes that you wanted to say about different departments, you could. But admissions started in alphabetical order. So admissions was it was the first block on the pamphlet, right? So that was the first place you could write something. What do you now? And they were always complaining about the fact that admissions was the worst reviewed department in the entire facility. Why? Because everybody put all their complaints in the admissions block because it was the first block to write in. And they would write stuff that would say the doctors sucked, the nurses were rude, the food was terrible in the admissions block. Right. And because it was in the admissions block, what do these corporate bean counters do? They counted it against admissions, even if it had nothing to do. So everybody else had high marks, and we had an approval of like 54%.
Right.
Perfect example of people doing that. I don't care for when they don't like the author and they use that as marks against them. But some people will like mark down a review for really silly reasons. Like, I don't remember whose review it was, but they found out the author was married and they made it a 4-star instead of a 5-star.
What? This book would be perfect if the author wasn't married. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense, right? Brian McCabe says, my lowest review pointed out my aversion to contractions. I simply cannot understand it. Good. I see what you did there, Brian. He's a 4-star review that said, if you suspend disbelief, it is a good story. I'm like, isn't that every fiction novel? Yeah, right. Tim McKay says, reads like a video game was my favorite bad review. I'd frame it and hang that quote on my wall with pride.
Well, it's like, oh, you got what I was going for.
Yeah, right. Like, I have gotten a good feedback like that. A lot of people that read it say it reminds them of Dragonlance and World of Warcraft, and I'm like, that's a good thing to be reminded of. Because it's not. I wasn't trying to emulate. It's just that's how it came out, So
yeah.
Jim, I'm gonna probably go ahead and call the stream here because, as you can hear, my voice is getting a little worse.
Yeah, you need to rest, man.
Yeah, I probably am going to go to the doctor and get this scratchy throat looked at, because last thing I need is laryngitis coming back and resurging.
Yeah.
Normally I'm over throat issues by now. And I know it's good. It's just sounding a little worse, but man, this has been a blast. I'm glad you guys, dropped in to say hi and chit chat for a little while.
Yeah.
Very much appreciate it.
Yeah, I always have fun streaming with you. And it was my first time streaming with Zach, but he was great. I'd love to get back on a stream with him as well.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get into his books. I really can, because if you go back and you watch my interview with him on the Author's Outpost, man, it's he and I are so alike in mentality and what we write and how we write. I'm starting to think like he's some kind of alternate dimension version of myself that crossed the multiverse to land over here. Because I'm like, I keep thinking, did you reach into my brain and pull out my thoughts and my process here?
Right.
I just wish I could pull out his writing speed and get my books out a little quicker, but who else?
Yeah.
Who doesn't wish that?
Yeah. Well, you got this. I believe in you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You do too, man. I know you work at your methodical level, but I have faith in you. I have faith in you to deliver a good book at whatever speed. Don't feel obligated to rush on my account, but hurry the hell up.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not rushing. I am not rushing. I'm going the exact speed I intend to go, except for when I neglect to write one day, and it's like, I was supposed to do that, wasn't I?
An author is never late, Frodo Baggins. He writes precisely when he means to.
Right.
Well, we're going to go ahead and call it today, guys. Appreciate everybody for jumping on in. I'm not going to bother with an outro. We're just going to go ahead and thank you to everyone in the comments who dropped into the chat. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys for showing up. I'm going to go give my throat a little rest. Thank you to Zias Diamante for letting us stream on your channel for a little extra longer. And again, thank you, Jim, for dropping in. Always a pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
Till next time, guys. Later.